Raging It Up players, Yana here, and this is your PiMP Daily Dose for September 16th. Earlier this week, PiMP TV travelled to Sydney for some one-on-one time with Tim Willits, Creative Director of Rage and the legendary id Software studio. Here's what Tim had to say about Rage, id Software and shooters in general.
You know, first-person shooters are really the dominant genre out there. I mean, when games like Modern Warfare sell, 25 zillion copies, it's good for everybody. And, it's really exciting that, something that we invented has taken on this massive life of its own. And the industry, and particularly first-person shooters, there's still a lot of room to grow. I think people are actually kind of growing tired of these modern combat games, and it's fun to play a game like Rage that has crazy things like mind-controlled darts, where you can shoot somebody, take control of their body, and then blow them up. And wing sticks. All Aussies, are gonna love the wing stick. We are able to do something like Rage because we can stand on the shoulders of Doom, Quake, and Wolfenstein. But it's more than a corridor shooter. It's more than a run-and-gun game. And I think when people play Rage, it will change the perception of id Software. We really do a lot in the game. It's a very deep game. We have racing and vehicle combat and an inventory system and an economy and a deep story. So it's really, I call it the complete first-person experience. Most people, it takes them about 15 hours to get through it. And as you progress through the story, you learn more about why you're important, why the resistance is important, what the authority is doing. And for us, we really wanted to turn up all the dials with Rage. We have a brand new engine with new graphics. The gameplay is over the top, and we also wanted the story and setting to match that level. It's funny that that people now say there's too much story in games, whereas John Carmack is famous for once saying that story in video games is like story in porn. Nobody cares. But no, I think that really a good story helps kind of ground the action. It creates the setting. It allows you to have meaning and purpose as you play through these worlds. So I think story has still a long way to go. I don't think there's too much story, and I think that we will see some really fantastic games in the future that really have great storytelling. When we set out to work on Rage, we knew that we had to do something different. We didn't want to follow the same formula that we used in our previous titles. So at its core, hardcore first-person id fans, should feel good that it still has that when you have your hand in the shotgun and you're shooting mutants, it's id Software. But there's a lot of depth. We have these elements that you don't really find in first-person games. It's very approachable. I've heard that some of our hardcore fans are worried about this whole driving concept. Or driving in an id game. It's fun. We have some over-the-top vehicle physics, so it's really an exciting game, and it's easy to get into, and it's very compelling. When we set out to work on Rage, having a clean plate allowed us to really be creative, which is also one of the reasons why we picked the post-apocalyptic setting. It's not, we don't shove the post-apocalyptic thing down gamers' throats, but it allows us to, blur the lines between good and evil. It allows us to have crazy things like wing sticks and machine guns on cars. So we were really fortunate in Rage to create a diverse plate that all these really fun gameplay elements sit on. We were pretty good at sticking to the core mechanics of what Rage was. We actually added a few things. The big one is the engineering items. They weren't originally on the schedule or the plan for Rage, but when we worked with the inventory system and collecting things, it was kind of a natural progression to move towards crafting things, and that worked really well with the different ammo types, which adds a lot of gameplay to the experience. So we were actually very good. The main thing that most people can see is how it looks, and that's because of our new mega texture technology, where we virtualize all the textures in the world. So our artists can create truly unique environments, unique areas, so you're not running through the same space corridors for 20 hours, and it gives Rage a very unique appearance. It also runs really fast. id Tech 5 runs 60 hertz on all systems. Now, many people don't really know what 60 hertz means, but it means that it's fluid, it's fast. You pull the trigger, you move, and the game reacts quickly to that. It really gives you a sense of ground, like you're grounded in the experience. In Rage, we wanted to do something a bit different. With the multiplayer, again, we needed Rage to stand on its own, to be different from our other titles, because our other titles are still very important. So for Rage, we focused on things that we thought, wouldn't it be fun to do with your friend? There's some huge titles that have done really well that are strictly multiplayer-based titles, and again, multiplayer is very important. I mean, heck, id Software survived for 2 decades on multiplayer. But we still feel that a great single-player game that's engaging, that's fun, players like that. People want to experience the world at their pace. People, when they look at the videos and we're doing all different ammo types and engine items and flying cars over jumps, a lot of casual gamers that like action games get a little intimidated when they see the trailers and the gameplay videos. But I want people to know that it's very approachable. You spend about first 2 hours of the game learning, how to survive in the wasteland, how to use different ammo types and weapons, before it really opens up for you. So, again, if you play Rage for an hour, I guarantee you'll love it. Back when we did games like Doom 2 and the original Quake, we were a dozen guys, and sometimes we would, after dinner, go back to the office and play deathmatch drinking game. So every time you get killed, you have to take a drink, which means that the more you die, the more difficult it is to kill anyone else. But it always ended up a lot of fun, very high scoring games, surprisingly. But those, I don't know if we can handle that.
Dreams stripped down beyond firelight, and seeing things unreal, and what comes crawling back again. Tears of harbor down to the thorny altar. I'm afraid I might fade away.
Apophis, the great god of chaos, raised his mighty hand, and both the just and unjust felt his wrath. We call this place the Wasteland. Doesn't take a genius to understand why. Justice, the way it once worked, is a thing of the past. But I believe someone can set things right again. Maybe you're the man for the job.
The game is easy. Kill or be killed.
And that's your PiMP Daily Dose for September 16th. I hope you enjoyed our Rage special today. Please join us again next week for another interview with Infinity Ward's Robert Bowling. Make sure you're watching.